See?
Hello, hello. My butt's getting real cozy in this seat. Hi, Kristen. Hi, little boys. Hi, Samantha. Hi, Jess. Hi, Ken. Hi, Kisa. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Brianna. Hi, Amber. Hi, Lars. Hi, Deanna. Hi, Rach. Hi, Barbara. Ken says Laura and I are on fire tonight. Okay, you guys. As you guys are hopping on, I'm just going to kind of dive right into this for the honor of everybody's time. Hi, Sonia. Hi, Kari. Hi, Christina. I am excited tonight. I'm fired up. So some of you, I'm just looking at the faces, you were just on our manager call, which we're similar. We're going to totally switch directions. And some of you were on the opportunity call. And I am so clear right now on what we're doing. It's so clear. I saw Eric Hoover's post in one of the business pages just about 2020 and this fire in his stomach. And I was like, oh, if they are working that hard, we should be working that hard. And I want to bring up this idea of the objections, because this is something that stops us in our tracks and it makes it very personable when it should not be personable at all. And I think coming out of NYKO, right, you've got this vision for the reset, you're all fired up, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm grabbing the manager bonus, I'm flying to director, I'm gonna get in the director leadership pools, right? And you see all this stuff, you're all excited, you did your vision board, you've got a list, but all of a sudden there's these hiccups along the way, right? That happens, there's these hiccups, and you get deflated, right? You are like, nobody wants to do this, right? You're like, oh, I totally suck at this. And no, you do not suck at this, and there's nothing to be deflated about it. But the idea that I want you to remember is that this is a skills-based business. It takes practice, it takes time, it takes learning, and it takes remembering that every master was once a disaster. So think about any job you've ever had, any job, from maybe babysitting when you were really younger, to waiting tables, to teaching group fitness, to being a teacher, any job you've ever had. And they were like, here's your job description, here's your salary, and you just went into it, right? And it was perfectly flawless. And you just got your paycheck and everything flowed with ease, right? That has never happened in any situation. You guys, I think about my very first spin classes, everything could have gone wrong, everything. Mic didn't work, I was breathing heavy in the microphone, I forgot my choreography, I couldn't clip out of my bike, everything was a disaster. But you keep going. And I was like, I'll be a really good spin instructor someday, but I had to suck first. Right? I think about when I first started waiting tables, hostessing at a restaurant is a totally different experience, right? Than waiting tables. And all of a sudden, the very first time I was in the weeds and I had spilled something and a credit card wasn't working and these people wanted their check and these people wanted to order, but you get better, right? Some of you are laughing because you've been there. Your Isagenix business is the same way. You're like, I'm excited and I suck. And it's okay. It's okay to suck sometimes. But what you have to remember is you don't suck. You're learning the skills. So there are many different objections, okay? Many, many, many different objections. But for the focus of tonight, I'm gonna start with 3 product objections, okay? 3 that come up when we wanna share the products. And if anybody wants to type information in the chat, I encourage you to do it. If you wanna add things in there, or maybe ask questions and I can read it and try to chime in. But the 3 that I'm gonna talk to you tonight are about the cost. Who in here has ever had the cost? It's expensive, right? Yeah. We all have had that. The second is it's a pyramid, right? It's one of those things. I'm not gonna buy anything from a pyramid. Jessica's like, me, I think I got that 10 times today. And the other one is I don't do shakes, right? I don't do shakes. I only do whole foods, right? You guys have gotten that? So if there's something else that you absolutely want me to cover on the product ones, I will for sure do my best to try to answer that or guide you in the direction, but these are the ones I want to primarily focus on because they come up all the time. So here's the thing with the cost. If you share the price with someone before you have created the value, you will always get the cost objection. They will always see it as expensive. The other way that you will always get the cost objection is if you think it's expensive. You subconsciously are putting out what you will attract in. So if I'm in the process of enrolling Kathy, right, and she's like, I gotta be the sexiest mother-in-law for my daughter's wedding, right? Like I'm all ready to lean out. I'm gonna give you my American Express. I don't care what it is. I'm good to go. But I'm sitting here going, oh my gosh, she's gonna think it's so expensive. Like she's never gonna wanna do this. She's gonna have to get a second job to buy her value system, right? And I put that out there. Kathy's suddenly gonna pick up on all of that. So for you guys that are getting the cost objection a lot, the two things you need to work on is number one, your own belief in these products and seeing the value, understanding where we are compared to other weight loss companies, to other weight loss things, what people are spending in this industry, what people spend on dining out, on shoes, on bags, on pedicures, on Target, on whatever, right? Like, where are people spending money on personal trainers, on cycle bar memberships, on organic, food getting shipped to their house that is not getting them to the goal. And the other one is to be able to create the value for them. And so there's a couple things that we can do, but most of this is becoming a professional interviewer, a professional question asker on how do we see the value, okay? One of them is honestly getting to know them, asking questions. What do you have for breakfast? What do you have for lunch? What do you typically have for dinner? How much do you think you spend a day on food? Do you eat out? Do you make coffee at home? Do you get coffees out? What are some areas that you would be willing to reallocate into your nutritional transformation? Would you be willing to do your own nails instead of getting them done this month, right? Is there something that you can sell, right? I was thinking of Trisha Wilkins. She sold her extra fridge to people get started in Isogenics. Starting to ask questions. Get them to see where this would fit in their lifestyle. If you were to pick 2 meals a day, what 2 meals can you see yourself having shakes? Most people are going to say breakfast and lunch. What are you currently doing for breakfast? Oh, I go to Starbucks. I have a coffee and a muffin. How much does that cost, right? What are you typically doing for lunch right now? Oh, I eat in the cafeteria of the hospital. How much is that? Oh, it depends, maybe $5 or $10 a day. When I ask people the questions, right? Like, what 2 meals do you see yourself doing your shakes a day at, right? Breakfast and lunch. Maybe it says, look, right now I don't really do breakfast. I skip breakfast. Okay, what do you do for lunch? Oh, we eat out every day. We go to Whole Foods, we go to Chipotle, we go to Tokyo Joe's. How much are you spending? Like, getting people to see this. Asking questions that will get to the pain point. So I'm on the phone with Laura, right? And she's telling me that she wants to do her shakes for breakfast and lunch. That right now she's having coffee and a muffin at Starbucks. Lunch is kind of leftovers on the go, or she skips lunch. She wants energy, right? This is what she's telling me. So I start to ask her questions, and this is what we peel back the layers of the onion. And I say, what would it mean to you to have more energy? And she might say, oh my gosh, it would just be nice to not be so sluggish. And I'll say, what else? Dig deeper. She might say, oh, do you know how great it would be to not have to drink a Red Bull every day? Mind you, she hadn't told me this yet already. She just told me that she was skipping breakfast and, going out for lunch. So I said, oh my gosh, you have a Red Bull every day? And she's like, yeah, sometimes 2. And I'm like, girl, how much do you spend a day on energy drinks? She's like, oh my gosh, at least $7. And I'm like, have you ever thought about how much money you'd save at the end of the month if you didn't need a 5-hour energy every day, if you didn't need a Red Bull every day? You are getting them to tell you what they're already doing. How else would having more energy affect your life? Oh my gosh, I would be so much more present with my husband when he got home from work. Like, I want to go to my kids' activities and I feel like I have to nap. Like, I'm just like dragging to get through dinner, waiting for them to go to bed so I can pass out to do my day all over again. Have you guys heard this before? Like, this is what people tell us if you ask the right questions. I say, so if there was a way we could reallocate what you're already doing, save money on eating out in the Red Bulls, and invest in a system that is going to give you so much energy that when you come home, you're excited to see your husband, you want to play activities and games and everything with your kids, and you're still energized at night that you don't even realize it's time to go to bed. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important would that be to you? Get them to tell you a 9 or 10. When someone tells me a 7 or 8, do you want to know what I've said sometimes? I say, well, you know what? I'm really only committed to working with people that are committed to a health change. So until you're a 9 or 10, I don't think this is for you. Do you have any idea what happens when you take something away from somebody? Like, okay, no, I'm probably more like a 9. Awesome. Then I recommend the system that has the most accelerated results. It's called our value pack. Are you comfortable with me breaking down to you what this looks like? Then I go into it. This is replacing 78 meals. Let me ask you right away. What did you tell me you spent a day at lunch? Oh, you spent $10 a day. That would be $780 that you're spending, and that's only 1 meal a day. I'm giving you 78, over 2 meals a day for less than $600. I'm actually going to save you money and double what you're eating for that same price. Do you guys see how that works? But your confidence has to be there and your knowledge has to be there. Now, do I expect you to be like this right away? No, I've had thousands and thousands and thousands of conversations about Isagenix, but I practice. I still practice. I still listen to podcasts. I listen to other people. I'm constantly gaining new sound bites from Josh Plant, from Lynn Hagedorn, from Jessica Rigner, from Hillary Courtney. I'm constantly learning. I just learned things from Laura Laurie on our opportunity call. So that every disaster, or every master was once a disaster. Remember that, okay? So when it comes to the cost, because I'm going to move on here, when it comes to the cost, here's what you guys need to know. Number one, work on your money mindset around it. Believe in the value that you are creating something that's going to help people and you are not charging for them something they do not need. The second, I have to turn on my little heater one second. I have this little space heater at my office because it gets cold in here and suddenly it's like 9,000 degrees. This is what Laura feels like on a day-to-day basis. I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing her. Anyway, so the second, in addition to the money mindset, is asking questions. You're doing 2 things. You're getting to know their daily life. What are they eating? What are they drinking? When are they eating out? How much are they spending, right? Do they take vitamins right now? Do they take fish oils? Do they take probiotics? Do they have money at a gym membership? Like, getting to ask questions. And then the second, outside of doing an intake on their life, is getting to the pain point. Peeling back the layers of the onion. If this was a weight loss, right? Let's say I'm on the phone with Danielle and she tells me she's spending $20 to $25 a day, right? She is a member of Purple Carrot. She goes to Whole Foods. She does all these things, right? Weight loss is important to her, so I know she can afford it. But I'm asking her, like, hey, why is losing weight important to you? And she's like, oh my gosh, because I'm in sales and I would be so much more confident when I went into a meeting. What do you mean by that? Sometimes I feel like I'm not giving a good presentation because I'm worried what people think about how I look. When was the last time you felt really good about yourself? Before I had kids. Do you have clothes in your closet that you've held on to thinking one day I'll get back into this? Yes. How would you feel to be able to slip into that? When was the last time you wore that? How did you feel when you wore those pants? If there was a way that I could coach you and get you into those pants with 100% money back guarantee, would you trust me to help you get started? Do you guys have any idea how little I get the cost objection? That is because there is a value. That is because Danielle doesn't care if it's $300 or $400 or $600. She is focused on the fact that there are jeans in her closet that she has not worn in 10 years, that she felt amazing in it once upon a time and will do anything it takes to get back in there because it's 100% money back guaranteed. So with the cost, you've got to find your money mindset and you have got to ask questions to create the value. The best way to do this is peel back the layers of the onion. If you want practice with this, I will help you with your calls. Laura will help you. Kisa will help you. Rachel will help you. Alex will help you. Lean on your executives to help you, show you how to do this, okay? Now, objection number 2. It's a pyramid. It's an MLM. Oh, it's one of those things, right? Like, I had that. I was like, oh, I'm not buying shakes from your company. Here's what I'll tell you. Number 1, the best way to really give people answers for that is to ask questions of what they mean by that, because it's really easy for us to assume what we think they mean by that. But the other is for you to become an expert at understanding this industry and understanding what makes Isagenix different, knowing the Isagenix story. So if I go back to the first part of this, of what do they mean by that, literally ask them. So if I'm on the phone with Kathy and she says, oh, that sounds great, but that's like one of those things. Is that like a pyramid? I'm like, what do you even mean by that? You know, I'm like, you really think I would be a part of something like that? Like, that's insulting. Like, what does that mean? Right? She's like, oh, well, is that like one of those things where like the person up top makes a lot of money and everybody below them, they all make money? And I'm like, no, it's not, you know? And I'm like, we're a word of mouth distribution company. So instead of me sending you to Amazon or sending you to Whole Foods, I'm referring you to our world headquarters online website. We're based out of Arizona, and you can shop online from the seat of your home, just like Amazon, for no compromise products, for cutting edge, science-backed, peer-reviewed nutritional products. I'm just a word of mouth. And they're like, oh, that sounds amazing, right? When they say, is that MLM? I'm like, what does that mean? Is that multi-level marketing? I'm like, tell me more, right? And you've got to understand things that we're a binary compensation plan, that we're paid on product, that we are not paid on people. But I say, I don't know. Like, I know how I feel. I know that I share things I love to other people. In the same way, I'm going to tell all my friends to go see Bad Boys because Will Smith is like the sexiest man alive outside of my fiance. Say, I feel better than I felt since college. Like, I can't believe I'm a size 6. I can't believe the way I sleep. And I just thought you'd want to know about this. Like, make it not weird, right? People are weird because they have heard these horror stories. And the only way to overcome that is for you to build them up and for you to relate to them. So when people talk about a pyramid, is they talk about a Ponzi scheme. You know, say, I used to feel that way too. But what I found is that we are a word of mouth company based on products, based on solutions that transform lives, right? No one is earning money based on people. It's a percentage of products that are sold, products that are transforming people's lives. Do you know that the definition of a pyramid scheme is like you're moving money around without product? The Isagenix has accolades and awards with the Direct Selling Association, the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC that regulates industries. We have awards and recognition because Isagenix has done this the right way. We're a legitimate business model. You can look us up. We have been a part of the Inc. 5000 for over 15 years in a row, right? We have Business Stevie Awards. We are ranked A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Like, learn these things. And I did not learn them all overnight. And you guys can listen to this call over and over and over and over and over until you want to do it. But I'm going to take you back to when I said, when you first started waiting tables, you didn't just walk into it one night and make $200 in tips. You had to do a whole lot of menu training. You had to do a whole lot of shadowing and training and not really getting tipped out, learning how to do this. And then you probably sucked ass and screwed over a bunch of tables and had bad tips for a month until you really got good at it. Be willing to suck at this. Be willing to put in the work to get good at it, that when you get on the phone and someone talks to you about this being in a pyramid scheme, you can say, no, actually not. The DSA loves us. Do you know that we have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau? You should look us up. We're an incredible company. You've done $7 billion in sales. We're in 15 countries. They're like, what? Like, you have got to be confident that you can answer those questions. And if you're not there, you should be doing three-way calls. You should be doing ATMs. Every single one of your introductions outside of getting someone excited should have an expert or a leader or a mentor on the phone with you to help you until you understand what you're doing, okay? So that's the pyramid one. Now here's the I don't do shakes. I hate shakes. I don't do shakes. Anybody get that? That was me, by the way. I was like, oh, there's no way I'm drinking 2 shakes a day. Like, this was so me. So if anybody relates to that, chime in here of what you think has worked for you. But again, I'm going to go back to asking questions. I'm going to feel felt found with them. And ultimately, I'm going to throw out a couple options for them, all right? Especially if they're coming for the business and not the products. When it comes to I don't like shakes, let's say this person wants to lose weight. I'll say, okay, let's take away the fact for a second that you're going to do 2 shakes a day. Why did you even reach out to me when you saw, Kari's transformation? And she's like, oh my gosh, because she looks amazing and I want to lose weight. So what do you think is more hard? To figure out how to get 2 shakes a day in for the next month, or go on spring break looking and feeling the way you are right now? I tell people, I'm a big fan of choose your hard, right? Is it more hard to have to lie vertical on your bed and zip up your pants? I have been there. Or to figure out how to drink a shake, okay? I tell them they're still gonna eat food. And I said, is it that you really don't like shakes, or is it because you think you're gonna starve? Most people actually think it's because they're gonna starve. It's not that they don't like shakes. And I say, oh my gosh, the shakes are supplementing your diet to help you put the right nutrition in to build fat or build muscle, to burn fat, right? To help with your cravings, to reset your metabolism, to put on lean body mass. But you're still going to eat food. You're not going to be hungry. Here's everything you can have in a day. They're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. They're thinking slim fast, but they're literally going to have 2 shakes and starve. For the ones that don't like it, I tell them things like, you know what? I used to hate protein shakes because they were full of artificial sweeteners. They tasted like a chemical shitstorm. They used to be really like thin. They were kind of watery. You know, our shakes are so thick. They're like smoothies. They're creamy. They're delicious. They're like all natural. There's nothing artificial in them. You can make them thick like a spoon. You can make them, you know, more like a shake, more like milk. You can play with the consistency and the texture. I will help you with that. I tell people that once they alkalize their body, they've done a cleanse day, their taste buds will change. Their body is going to crave a shake instead of the French fries they're currently eating, right? But they've got to be willing to go through it. So when it comes to like, I don't do the shakes, understand, first of all, what do they do? Like, what's the importance of them, right? Don't let people cleanse without doing shake days. They're going to set them up to not succeed. Then to relate to them about the flavor or the hunger. Let them see that their taste buds will change. Let them see that they're still going to eat real food. Now, if you have someone that absolutely no way in hell is ever going to do a shake and they want the business, there's a whole lot of ways, y'all, to get to 100 BV. If they don't want to do shakes and they want to be an Isagenix millionaire, give them oils, give them Amped, give them skincare, give them kids products. Let them order 100 BV for however they want it, because that's all they need to be able to go share this with other people. Don't force people into something that they don't want. However, I truly believe that when you have an emotional attachment to the products, your belief in the product, that's when your business is going to soar. It's very hard to get people to do things you won't do. So if you're not doing a shake day and a cleanse day, it's going to be very hard to get other people on a value pack to do the shake day and the cleanse day. That is a last resort. But I think it's getting the vision out there. Like, can you imagine what you're going to look like in 30 days? Can you imagine how you're going to feel? And you're going to look back at this and say, that was the best thing I ever did, because this was the final program that worked for me, the one that got me out of the yo-yo, the one that got me lasting results with ease. Relate to them. Tell them that we've got tons of recipes. They can add extracts to it, PB2, right? That we've got all these modifications for them to like their shake. And of course, 100% money back guarantee. Of course, that they can send it back if it doesn't work for them, if they don't like it, if there isn't a flavor that they like. Let them know the quality assurance that we have on these products, that the refund is available should they not want it, should they not have this amazing transformation. Now, the last 2 things I'm going to chat with you guys about briefly, because I know we're fired up. I know we're on this mission to go manager, and it's going to start with 2 things, right? It's going to start with getting people on the products. So the first 3 objections that was all about getting people on the products was the first part of this call tonight. The second is duplication. The second is taking Alex, taking Danielle, taking Laura, taking these product users into consultants, getting them to share with other people. The number 2, or the top 2, in my opinion, objections you're going to get around this is, I don't want to sell anything, right? Who's gotten this? Ooh, I don't want to sell anything. I don't want to be a part of that. Or I don't know anyone, right? Oh, I don't know anyone that would want to do that. So I'm going to focus on the selling one, and I'm going to wrap up with the I don't know anyone. When it comes to selling, ask them questions about, like, what if you didn't learn about this? So like, I'm working with Christina, she's lost 20 pounds, she's feeling amazing, and she's like, yeah, I just don't really want to sell anything. Say, how did you learn about Isagenix? She's like, oh, I saw a post on Facebook. Did you feel like that person sold you, or were you inspired? Oh, I was super inspired. If I could help you draft a post that is not a call to action, it's not salesy, but that you're sharing your story, right? That this could just inspire someone, would you be willing to try and do that? I believe people suffer in silence. You know people I don't know, and together we can help more people. I am empowering her to be a servant leader, not to sell anything. Okay, so I'm talking to Danielle and I'm like, hey, would you have a launch party? Like, I love to help more people, and I'll bring all the products, right? I'll do the giveaways, but can you invite friends and family over to share what we're up to? And she's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do anything. I don't want people to say I'm selling anything. I said, well, what if you lean on me? What if you say, hey, my friend Lauren has this amazing health and wellness business. I've absolutely loved my product experience, and I know she wants to help more people. I've offered to host a party. We're just inviting you over to learn more. She's going to be here. She can answer all these questions. You know, if you have other people interested, bring them. And if it's not for you, no big deal. Would you be up for doing that? Oh my gosh, sure. You're going to do it. You're going to give the presentation. You're going to bring the products, right? They'll move, but you've got to be able to lock arms with people. You've got to be able to get them to pave the way and be unattached from the outcome. So let's say I'm talking to Barbara, right? Barbara's well on her way to release 100 pounds, and she says, oh, I don't want to sell anything. And I'm going, do you realize how important your story is? Do you realize by sharing your story, there's other people out there that want to release weight like this? There's other people that are like reversing the aging clock and increasing their health. And I said, how cool would that be for your story to be the reason someone else loses 100 pounds? She's like, oh, I never thought about that. I said, do you know how awesome it would be for you to be vulnerable in a way to help someone else? And I said, who cares if they say no? Let's not focus on what we can't do for them. Let's focus on what we can. What if they said yes? What if it was your story that saved a life? What if it was your story that got someone to do a 180 in their health? Would that not be amazing? But this is how we are getting people's mindset to work, to move out of rejection and into encouragement. Laura was writing in here, I need to have a full transformation before I can talk to anybody. BS. Not that that's not a true thing that comes up, but that is a BS story you are telling yourself. Here's what this looks like when we're not talking about Isagenix. Oh my gosh, there's this brand new restaurant that just opened up. I'm going to go try it. And if it's good, I'll go back with you next week. No, I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, we should go try it. Maybe I won't like it and the person I invited does. I'm not going to go see Bad Boys by myself and then go back a second time with 4 of my friends. Like, what? I'm like, the movie's out. Let's go. I might like it. Paige might hate it. Might be the opposite. We invite people to be a part of things. You have to remember that, number one, we are most relatable when we are in the journey. People don't want to be left behind, right? When it comes back to like, I don't want to sell something. If I'm going on spring break with Kari and she's doing a 30-day system and she's going to show up in a bikini with abs and I am feeling fluffy from January, like I'm pissed that she didn't tell me. I'm like, what did you do? I was like, so I'm running around in a mom tankini and a cover up while you're running around in a bikini with abs because you were too afraid to sell me. Now I'm pissed off that she didn't tell me and asked me to do it with her. Think about how you would feel on the other side of it. So this transformation, Barbara is so relatable right now. She is so relatable. When you get to the afterthought, people feel like they missed the boat. It's too late for them. That is when you can actually lock arms and hold each other accountable and do it together, right? It puts people on the same playing field. So the other last piece I wanted to chat with you guys about tonight was, I don't know anybody. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. People are everywhere. I'm not even going to get into the cold market of where you can find people because you could send me out today and I would know 20 people, right, that would be interested in Isagenix that will find them. When someone is getting started, it's getting them to think in a different way than sales. So I might say, so do you ever go to Orange Theory or Cycle Bar? Like, do you go with people? Who do you go with, right? I might ask them, hypothetically, if you won the lottery today, who would be the first 10 people you would tell? If you got a job promotion, who would you tell? If your kid just won the spelling bee, who would you tell? If you were going to switch jobs and you were asking for connections, who would you maybe ask you to put in a referral to see if they were hiring? You don't think they're open to extra income? You don't think they might be interested in getting more healthy? I mean, the number one thing that I've learned in this, you guys, is not to prejudge anybody. We don't know who needs money. We don't know who doesn't need money. We don't know who needs the business, who doesn't need the business, who needs the products, who doesn't need the products, who needs the culture, who needs the fulfillment, who wants the personal development. All I know is we have a lot of solutions, and it is up to us to educate people, allow them to decide if it's for them or not for them, and then support them either way. So all we are doing is inviting people to take a look. We are introducing them to products. We are introducing them to a business. We are introducing them to a culture. Let them decide if it is for them. And if it's not, who cares? I don't want to go to Indian food. Please don't unfriend me if you invite me and I don't go. If they don't want to drink shakes, they don't want to drink shakes, right? If they don't want to build a side hustle, they don't want to build a side hustle. That's awesome. Thank you for at least checking it out. If you know of anybody, will you introduce them to me? And if they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. How do I get started? You're like, holy crap, I would never have thought Kisa wanted to do this. Holy crap, I would never have thought Kimberly wanted to do this. We invite, we introduce, they educate themselves, right? And we support. That it's not that hard. So I want to wrap up tonight with reminding you guys that as you're fired up and you want to go manager, you've got to learn the product objections to get people started. Understanding it's not a pyramid scheme, understanding that, you know, how they're going to steal you Whole Foods and not have shakes, understanding the value and not the cost. Commit to becoming skilled so that you can share the products and have conviction when the objections come up. And if you're not there, do three-way calls, do three-way messages, bring an expert to your launch party, lean on the people that have done it while you are learning. You will earn while you learn. Now, the second piece of this is to get them to share. So those objections of helping someone else get over the fact that they're in sales, helping someone else realize they know a lot of people, you've got to lock arms. This is when we talk about you have to get in the trenches with your team. If I'm like, Laura's excited, I'm like, oh my gosh, go find your 2 people, right? And she's like, okay, she sees $450 on the table. She doesn't know how to do a power post. She doesn't know how to do an ATM. She doesn't know what to say. She doesn't know how to overcome the objection. She doesn't know about all the tools. She doesn't know about the different packs. She knows nothing. So if you're telling your people to go get paid and go find people and not coaching them, they're not going to do anything. So if you're going to tell someone to go get paid, then tell them what to do. Tell them to go to isagenixbusiness.com. There is a training. There is a training by rank. Watch the associate training. Watch the consultant training. Help them with the Facebook post. Tell them how to set up a 3-way call. Teach them how to do an ATM. Getting in the trenches and developing people is where the depth of this business is. If you want to be wealthy with Isagenix, you have got to spend the time developing people. This is the biggest key, way more than enrolling people. Enrolling people is going to get you so far. Spending the time developing them is going to take you to the top. So I encourage you guys for a little bit of homework for those that want extra credit. Listen to Tracy O'Malley's Overcoming Objections call. Listen to Lynn Hagedorn's Overcoming Objection call. Listen to Chris Harder's Overcoming Objection call. Laura Stevens has a part 1 and part 2. Listen to them, learn them. Drive in the car and listen to them until the sound bites naturally click. Listen to them when you're in the shower, while you're cooking dinner, while you're at the gym. Play these in your head till it rolls off your tongue like 2 + 2, right? Till like 2 + 2, like 2 + 2, like 2 + 2. I listen to a podcast every single day. I listened to one today by Lynn Hagedorn and learned something new. In order to lead other people, you've got to first lead yourself, and that means we never stop growing. You got to work on yourself if you're going to work on other people. So that's it for tonight, you guys. I'm so fired up. I'm so grateful for you guys. Please know I'm always here to help you. I will be in any ATM. I will help you with verbiage. I will help you overcome objections, how to connect, whatever it may be. Don't feel like you got to do this on your own. We love you. Good night.